Boo! This episode of Spooky Swirl is brought to you with the support of our terrifying backers over at patreon.com/cinemaswirl. $5 OTP backers get instant access to every episode of our monthly exclusive bonus show, Cinema Swirl, where Kevin and I review bad movies. This month, in fact, right now, we've reviewed Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that was made because the rights to the story fell into the public domain. We've reviewed that. Plus, there's also 77 previous episodes of Cinema Swirl, and you can access them immediately as a $5 OTP backer. If that sounds interesting, head on over to patreon.com/cinemaswirl to find out more. All right, let's get spooky swirling.
Spooky Swirl! I plundered a dirty knife. It's episode 135, coming to you from the haunted gangplank galleon of Hollywood, California, where all these big movies have come back, and you better start believing in movie podcasts where your friend hasn't seen any of those movies, because you're in one. Hello, Sam. How are you doing today? I'm Kevin, by the way.
I'm good, thank you. And, you know, it's all good having these dirty knives, but Muggins over here has got to do the washing up. So here I... But it's a bit spooky dishwater. It's got, like, ghosts in it and stuff.
I thought you were a python head. It's a dirty fork. That's the...
Yes.
That's the bit. That's the bit that gets Gleese coming out going, immigrants! Ooh, my wives!
He's cross, isn't he?
He is, and I saw Eric Idle live recently in Manchester. He actually lived in Swinton, where I live. So when he mentioned that, we went, woo! And boy, he no-sold that. But what he didn't no-sell was his undying hatred for John Cleese. That was a recurring theme, taking solace that his good friend George Harrison died, so he no longer had to put up with that piece of work.
Is it sort of like a Johnny Marr and Morrissey type thing now with those two? That, like, you know...
They didn't give Morrissey his own show on GB News, so I'm not really sure if that's...
It's only a matter of fucking time, though, I suppose.
It's only a matter... Oh, the dinosaur hour. Oh,
God, yeah.
How are you doing, Sam? We're looking at a scary movie today, and you have got nothing if not scary attire on.
Yeah, if you're on the Spotify and you want to switch over to video, now's the time. You can see what I've got on my ad. But for anyone listening, I guess you're just not going to know, and that's part of the spooky mystery.
He's got a nice pair of boobs on his head, so he does.
Yeah.
Go on. Oh, go on. Check it out. Oh, go on.
I find breasts scary. And that's me.
They're terrifying. They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So.
That is something that we're dealing with here today, alongside the spooky movie du jour.
Yes.
Which is Scream.
Is that a scream? Is that what screams sound like? I think so.
I feel like when we grew up, we were in peak screaming. Like, you know? Because I remember as a child, I screamed all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now, I think that, the younger folk, they think that's cringe, you know? Whereas all us millennials are like, I'm heckin' Screamerino-ing and whatnot, it's... we had Eek the Cat, Real Monsters, and this movie, which is literally just called... Ah!
Yeah. Are people going to get nostalgic for screaming? I think Gen Z scream, man. I think that some of them are loud. Some of them are quiet. Some of them are loud.
No, they don't. They like ASMR, and screaming is strictly prohibited. I was kicked out of the ASMR conference because I kept going around going, ah, ooh, ee, and they didn't like it. I found it to be relaxing.
I would much sooner have someone scream directly in my face than have someone go, and now I'm going to touch this with my... Can I like...
Oh, Sam, no.
Put their fucking fingernails... I hate it. I hate it so much. I have whatever the opposite of it is.
Again, hates breasts, hates ASMR. There's a lot of content on YouTube that he is simply not going to enjoy. That is really the end of the story there. Sam, we have got A tall tale ahead of us today, delving into the nightmarish world of mid to late 90s iconic horror that has spawned several sequels, parodies, reboots, and less successful sequels to said reboots. Leave the politics out of it. It's Scream.
Now, this feels like a real DVD movie, I think.
Excuse me?
Well, I obviously I haven't seen it, but I think that is weird that I haven't seen it. I know that's the crux of this podcast. New listeners, welcome.
I do feel there's a lot of people on YouTube who would benefit from having an arrow pointing at you with the words "hasn't seen it." For every single one of our episodes. And you can give me a quick has if you want as well.
Seen it, and then subscribe down here. So I haven't seen it, but I think there were a lot of people my age. I mean, this came out when this came out. I would have been like a small child who shouldn't.
Yeah, you would have been like 7 or 8,
so
right?
We rule out cinema. But I think this was one of those ones that was kind of floating around on the DVD circuit amongst Halloween parties for preteen and teen kids.
Yes, this was a VHS that was rented for a birthday party. But it wasn't one of those things where, like, my parents took me to the VHS shop, I selected it, and they went, "That's a good choice, Kevin. You as a 10-year-old, have chosen very aptly and well." And then me and my mates all watched it. It was another child had convinced their parents to rent out the video, and they took it to the party. Right. And I had garnered this misfound trust in my parents that whatever we were going to stick on was like an Austin Powers level of fine for children.
Yeah.
And boy, were we wrong, is all I can say without spoiling too much. It wasn't the type of thing that made us scream, but it was the type of thing that, like, I realized like 2 or 3 years ago, I hadn't seen this movie since I was a little boy. Because and I was like, I didn't have any nightmares and stuff about it, but it was one of those things where I watched it and realized perhaps this was not. We weren't all like, hey,
not quite.
Like when you're 12 and watching Donnie Darko, it was more like, why did we do this? Oh no.
Okay, yeah. Whatever those parties were, I missed out. I wasn't there at the time.
Perhaps you were slightly too young for that type of a business.
I mean,
but
maybe.
Did you see Scary Movie, which I feel like piggybacked off the back of this?
No, but again, that was one that, you know, the kids at the time were really in on and enjoyed. So I was sort of adjacent to the cultural moment that Scream and Scary Movie had.
Because it was the talk of the playground. It was like very much the... And it was interesting because there was certainly no way in hell anyone from my school was going to go and see this in the cinema.
No.
And that's something that I think is very interesting. We have a lot of American listeners who seem to have great fond childhood memories of stacking themselves up in a long coat and gaining entry into the movies and sometimes into the Space Jam contest itself.
Yes.
Whereas us, it was simply like, no, we won't be able to pull a fast one on those very, very inattentive staff members down at the Omniplex.
Yes. Well, I've been one of those staff members, remember, having to refuse people entry to films they were too young to see.
In this situation, Sam, what if they are stacked up in the trench coat, one of them, the ID checks out, the other two are actually not of age? Are you breaking up the group? What's going on?
I think, look, if you're 2/3 old enough, you're okay. But if it's, just
are
one
you taking an average? Like if there's a 23-year-old on top of a 6-year-old, are they getting in to see the 15s movie somehow?
Yeah.
I don't think the math checks out on that. That's not fair.
I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know. But it's a vibes thing, you know. It's a vibes thing.
What vibes does Scream give you? Ooh. What are some of the bits? Because I feel it's a movie that has a lot of strong imagery and a lot of strong, like, kind of, it's permeated into the culture. But I don't think people would be like, this character, and like necessarily even what happens throughout the movie. There's a few key bits, though, that I'm interested to know if you know about them.
Okay, so I know the lad. You know, the Scream from Scream.
What?
The guy, the face, the mask.
Screech?
No.
He's no longer with us.
I know he's sort of Grim Reaper-y with a long, scary mouth. Black and white.
The face? Can you do the face? You just got the code. Oh no! Don't do that, Sam.
No, sorry.
Mouth open, stabbing motion. Son's knife is We will get deplatformed.
It's too late. Please don't draw anything on that screenshot. So it's the long.
If you guys do that, I'm really gonna be upset. This keeps happening.
It keeps happening. You know, it's the guy from Scream, the villain from Scream. We know it.
What's his name?
Scream. It's Scream from Scream.
What does he sound like? What does he do?
Okay, so I know a scene from Scream. I will come back to what you're asking me here.
Okay.
I think on Channel 5's best bits of movies ever. There's always the opening. I believe the opening scene of Scream, which has got Drew Barrymore in it in a house. And there's someone ringing the phone, being like, "Oh, would you like scary movies?" And
very good.
Yeah. And he's sort of asking her questions about movies, and if she gets them wrong, he stabs her. There's some I can't remember. He's like, she gets chased around a house, I think.
Sorry, he asks her questions about the movies. Like, this must be great, like, for you now coming into this knowing that, like, well, if he asked me about like kind of certain movies, I might be okay.
I'd be dead. I'd be dead if I was in this situation. If I was the Drew Barrymore, I'd be dead. But I think that's just the opening. There's a bit where he's ringing up and being like, "Oh, do you like scary movies?" He's got a deep gravelly voice.
A deep gravelly voice.
Asking her questions. I don't know if they're multiple choice. I don't know if it's like, who in the 1977? I don't think it's like that.
Starring. Anyone? Starring?
I don't know if there's lifelines. But I think it's a sort of quiz format.
Call a ghoul, that type of thing.
With violence, which is a shame. And you don't really get that nowadays. It's television too sanitized. But the problem is, Channel 5's best bits of movies that you might have seen also gets mixed up with Channel 5's funniest bits of movies that you might have seen. And
right, that's true.
I feel like there's a scary movie bit that's a parody of that bit where the main baddie, Scream from Scream, gets like stuck in a cat flap or something, or his arse is showing or something. I think there's some. So I know that scene.
So you're thinking there might be some conflation going on here, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know if his pants get stuck on like a garage door or something. There's all sorts of. It's getting conflated in my head into one scene, but that's all I know.
You know one scene from Scream?
Yeah. The iconic scene from Scream, I think.
Mr. Scream, is he, like, are we talking like a Michael Myers type of is he a funny guy? Or is he like kind of a Michael Myers, like kind of like an invincible super ghoul? Are we dealing with the supernatural? Or is it just some fucking lads?
I think there's something very scary about just some lad in a mask with a knife. No kind of supernatural bullshit, just like this guy's.
I don't know, Sam. I used to be very scared of John Carpenter's Halloween, and then I saw the trailer for the new game, John Carpenter's Halloween, the game, and Michael Myers can turn into like a gas and like move between scenes very quickly. And I had trouble sleeping that night. I don't mind saying.
I think we've got less of that and more of just, I think, a determined creepy murderer.
How's he going to murder you?
Stab, got a big knife.
Got a big knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a stabby guy.
And the thing is, right, you'd be more scared about a blunt knife than a sharp knife, apparently, because if he's trying to cut you, he'll slip and cut you worse with a blunt knife. That's what people forget about knives, okay?
Yes.
Sharpen your knives, folks. Would-be chefs and would-be murderers. It's that time of year when the evenings are drawn in and it's like sun's down at like 7. Sharpen your knives. You never know. There could be a murder.
If you are murdering, I think that's common courtesy. You should be doing that.
Like, imagine like the detectives like, look at this. It's all like
fucking amateur hour.
Look at this. It's all slashed and butchered up here. But over here, that's a nice cut. I'd eat that. Like, that's a nice cut of meat. Like, Look at the marbling. Very good. Very good.
Kevin, all I know is a kind of young woman in a house on her own gets chased and killed by a man who's on the telephone.
So hot as hell, obviously, is what we're talking about here. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
It's
a scorcher, folks, is what we're saying, This was on Jimmy Carr's top 50 sizzling sexy movies.
Over on the Patreon, we watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, don't remind me.
Was, surprisingly horny, but in a really weird way.
Winnie the Pooh's a pervert. We learned that, didn't we?
Yeah, fascinating movie. But
that's why I'm dressed as here today. I have no trousers on. That's my Halloween costume.
I think the rest of the movie, I assume, is kind of more of the same but bigger. Like, what's this murderer doing? Maybe a group of teens trying to.
Do you think like kind of a Freddy Krueger type of situation where we'll have a stalking and killing? Do you know any of the stars? There are some very recognizable names in here for those of us who grew up in the 1999s.
Homer Simpson. No. I know. I just know Drew Barrymore's in that opening scene. I don't think I know any of the others.
Homer Simpson would be a very scary murderer, wouldn't he? Yeah. Why, you little... as a child, you'd be like,
I don't know if I know any of the stars.
Horrible cheese man coming to strangle you in your sleep.
I thought that Drew Barrymore was like the star, and you think she's going to be the star of the film, but she's just at the start, and then it's all the no names for the rest of it. Is what I thought was the case for this.
Got Channel 5 a run up against the fair use limit there, right? They basically showed you like one of the main bits. All of it.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen pretty much that entire scene. I can't really remember all of it. And I've seen the Scary Movie one with the, getting caught in a cat flap or something.
You've eaten the skin off 2 chickens is what you've done here. Now we're left with the dull meat underneath.
But maybe the dull meat is the best bit,
Do you think it's going to scare you? I mean, in the name of the movie itself, the man is asking, do you like scary movies? I feel like I get a different answer to this I ask you this like twice a year, and I get a different answer every year.
What, is it going to scare you?
Well, yeah. Do you like to be scared? Do you like a scary movie?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I do like being scared. I think so. So I'm hoping this is scary.
I'm finding as I'm getting older, I'm enjoying scary stuff more.
Yeah.
I feel because there's certain genres that I'm like, no, never, ever. I hate body horror. No, never. And I saw it together, and me and my wife were like, "Aww, it's a movie." Yeah.
Is it nice?
In a way.
I don't know what together is, but
go see it.
Okay.
Leave the dog at home though, if you know what I'm saying. Like, Stanley ain't going to like that. Like,
no, this has got a good reputation. I think this was like a cult classic, or maybe just a classic.
It's more the latter than the former. This was big box office.
Yeah.
This meets Swirl criteria for critical and cultural and money reasons.
This might even fall into the Primark Halloween pajamas arena, I think. I can imagine the font and maybe the face on a t-shirt or a...
I mean, I had the Scream mask as a 13-year-old, except it inexplicably made like a dog, the kind of that dog chew toy.
Okay, yeah.
Which is, for the record, not the Scream that is screamed in Scream. Like, it would make him considerably less scary if he was running around and be like, do you like scary movies?
I think that's got a creepiness to it. I think that's quite
You're getting into clown territory then. That's a whole other kettle of fish, okay?
Well, yeah, I want to see it. And this is one where, Sophie, my partner, has been very surprised that I haven't seen this. Other people are like, what the fuck? Have you not seen Scream?
Does she not know you? That's like your whole thing,
yeah,
man.
For the most part, she's got used to it. But this was, for whatever reason, one of the ones where she was like, how have you not fucking seen that? It's nice when it comes back up again as a thing.
It does. This happens. It does happen more frequently than one might think after doing this for fucking decades.
How's he not seen that? Come on. Yeah, but I haven't seen
You think you know a guy. You really don't.
Yeah. But I might have seen like 10% of it on Channel 5's Best Bits of Movies, but that doesn't count.
I think you're going to like it.
Okay.
I think you're going to like it a lot because I saw it I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I got into like a big fucking run of horror stuff, watching loads of Saw and whatnot with Joe. And we had a rip-roaring time watching this not that long ago. So, it's boding well for but does it bode well for the mailbag?
Welcome to the spooky mailbag. Hey, I want to read your mail. It's very scary. There's all cobwebs and stuff all over these, and they've
Dracula and spiders.
And these bits of correspondence have come from the scariest place of all, Patreon. Thank you, as ever, though, for your questions, queries, comments, other bits and bobs into cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. They say an old podcast resides there.
Or the socials, or just the YouTube comment. Anyway, just if you've got a question, just get it to us.
You can even go onto Blue Sky.
So, first question comes in from Samuel, who writes the following. Since the rules of Cinema Swirl are ironclad and clear about what can and can't be reviewed.
Yeah!
What are some modern horror movies that have gotten you? Samuel writes, the overwhelming feelings of dread and anxiousness made Longlegs an absolute nightmare of subtlety for me, personally. I'm not sure about subtlety in Longlegs sometimes, but yeah. So, modern horror. Kevin, I mean, I feel like you're the modern horror guy. What are some recent ones that have got to you?
I saw Weapons, I really liked it. I saw Barbarian, I really liked that as well. I saw Together, I really liked. These are all things that I felt I had much more of a way time than I was actually scared.
Sure.
Although there was a few kind of jolts here and there. The Substance is a movie that I have been basically pivoting and quick time eventing to avoid watching because I still have this thing in my head that body horror really fucking terrifies me. And I feel like even though I've seen a lot of body horror movies in the last 3 years in particular, and I've really enjoyed, the idea of that movie still scares me a lot for whatever reason.
Okay.
And it's not helped by the fact that everyone I know and love seems to love that movie or really want to see that movie. So I do often find is the case with me now, and I think it's mentioned there by Samuel with Longlegs, very often it's the reputation of the movie beforehand that's scarier than watching the movie itself.
Sure.
And I find that my biggest fears come beforehand. Okay. I went to see Drag Me to Hell when I was very depressed in Glasgow, way 15 years ago, whatever it was. And that I had the worst fucking time because I feel like if you're not in a good place and you go see a movie that's yeah, and I often find the things that scare me the most are movies where it's yeah, but you're enjoying it, right? It's funny that it's there. And a lot of the kind of horror comedy or the horror splatter core stuff that Billy loves, I'm I don't want to fucking see it because the thing that doesn't scare me is genuine horror doesn't scare me. It's usually when something's it's kind of funny. It's so barbaric and horrible, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm on a different plane with that very often. Okay. So, yeah, but there's nothing that I've seen in the cinema recently that properly scared the fucking bejesus out of me. I had too good a time seeing Weapons for me to say it genuinely scared me. Yes. But I think there's some pivots recently about what is mainstream horror. I would think people are enjoying the resurgence of horror, but it is also changed. My brother's an old school horror head. He thinks that all the stuff that's kind of come out since Get Out is not horror. It's drama, action, comedy with a soupçon of horror thrown on top, for instance. So yeah,
I've heard this term elevated horror or something like that, where it's kind of clever horror, but then
it's too sophisticated to be scary.
Well, yeah, I think there's a bit of that. I mean, I saw Weapons as well and really loved it, but it's not stuck with me.
Were you scared?
I mean, there's scary bits in that film, but
overall, you wouldn't say that was a movie at which I was scared. Bits.
No.
There's probably more moments where you're yeah, or ha ha ha, or 4 hot dogs, that type of a thing,
Yeah, I think Barbarian was maybe a bit scarier. Longlegs had scary moments, but I think, again, Longlegs, the marketing campaign and the hype was, I think, more impressive than the film necessarily. I think they did a great job building that up as the scariest shit you'll ever see.
And I find then when you make cases like this where it's this mainstream horror movie I saw was scary, it wasn't scary, or that mainstream horror movie I saw wasn't very scary, the real horror fans will come at you then. This happens all the time with Billy where he's look at this, and he had some fucking horrible HD DVD with a pile of shit with a face on it, I'm no, not like that. Something that something that Mark Kermode would watch. Like that instead.
It's not modern, but Hereditary, I seem to remember kind of sticking with me for a while when I watched that. I thought that was pretty good. It had scary bits. I'm enjoying watching some of this modern horror. That's kind of my little treat. I know it's not really going to count towards Swirl.
I like going to those movies in the cinema a lot more now because I think, people were talking recently about how, there's so few comedies and movies in movie theaters anymore that the actual experience of being in a room full of people and laughing is very strangely absent.
Sure.
I love being in a room full of people and some people are like, that was funny, and other people were like, oh Jesus, and really unsettled or screaming and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why Weapons was so fun, was that it was a packed house and there was like 20 different types of reactions. When me, Joe, Adam and Billy went to see Saw X, and we were like, there's a spoiler for Saw X. There's a part where someone like gets like a bit of like a gurney or a medical device that has something that they need by lassoing some large intestines onto it. And we were literally dying laughing, and the people behind us were like, "Excuse me, can you take it seriously? Thank you." And that for me is also fascinating. Is going to see really silly bananas over the top horror movies that people are like, "This is cinema. Welcome to the dance."
Well, there's so much overlap with horror and comedy, isn't there? Because they're almost similar feelings in a way.
You're very close there. You
know? There's a lot of surprise involved,
and they often go well together, closely related.
Yes.
The garlic and onions of cinema, Sam. I dare I said it, like.
But thank you so much, Samuel, for your question. A further question comes in from Martin, who writes the following. Did anything in media scare the shit out of you as a child and still gives you chills now if you rewatch it as an adult? For me, it's something in Superman 3, but I won't spoil it. So that's a nice little teaser for me.
Oh, that's a little teaser for down the line.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor gets top billing.
I've got an answer to this that I think I've brought up before, but it still freaks me out. And having delved through my YouTube algorithm and seen this again, it did freak me out. Do you remember Art Attack, the program Art Attack?
You don't like the head?
The head. When I was a child, I would hide behind the sofa and cry. The head freaked the fuck out of me so much as a child. And even now, seeing like YouTube clips of it, I'm still a bit like, I don't like this. I don't know what it is. There was also a video for a Tool song on MTV2 that was claymation, and I was just like, fuck this.
You don't like claymation. We've established that in the past, yes.
I think it's, and I no disrespect to claymation animators, because I know it's a hard job, but I think it's the non-polished, slightly rough and ready, you can see the fingerprints and all the stuff in it, claymation. Like the slightly...
And that's why Sam Chaplin burned down Aardman Studios.
I mean, Aardman is fine, but even early, like Wallace and Gromit, is a bit gross. It's like,
isn't it?
Yeah,
his eyes pointing different ways. Cheese, Gromit.
Yeah. Now when it all looks nice and it's got a sheen and Peter Kay and Rhys Shearsmith are there, I'm like, fine, great, we're safe. But that old shit is quite creepy.
I remember seeing Death Becomes Her on TV when I was like 9 years old, and literally being like, "It's Bruce Willis." He said, nothing but good times with Big Bruno back in town, am I right? And it fucking terrified me. Like, just these like women tearing holes in each other and then be like, ah!
Oh, God.
And the years that followed, I always like would just have in the back of my head, oh, that's the movie that scares me. Oh, that's the movie that scares me. And then like 2 or 3 years ago, being like, you know what? It's regarded as like a cult classic and like fabulous special effects, full of like performances from people who I fucking love. Let's go and watch this fucking bad boy. And I watched it with Joe and I was like, ha ha ha, love the whole thing all the way through. Being like, yay, I've conquered my fears. And then the last scene, I swear to God, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, I get a striking image of the last scene and it just makes me go like, and it's so bad when it's literally like a horror movie when you think I've overcome the horror and then it's like, no, it's back. Don't always gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I remember having so much fun and joy watching what we classed as gold back when I was a teenager. My brother's friend and mine, Paddy Hanna, used to always bring in like Italian zombie movies, absolute schlock. I can't tell you what the distinction is, But sometimes I'd be putting one on, I'd be like, Raiders of the Living Dead, they were hunting us, now we're hunting them instead. I'm rolling on the floor laughing, I'm having the best time of my life.
Yeah.
You know, Troll 2, having the funniest time in the world. But then like Return of the Living Dead Part 3, and I'm like, I'm have this particular schlock gives me nightmares.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested to hear feedback from people because I've mentioned this so many different times. I don't know what it is specifically that scares me, but there's all these random threads that make me cautious in the minefield of classic and modern horror.
Yes. There's certain visual aesthetics, or I think you're right. It's a combination of things that come together.
Dead Meat from Peter Jackson. I remember when my friend and I rented that when I was 15 years old, and I was at the height of zombie mania.
Yeah.
I'd seen Shaun of the Dead 26 times and Dawn of the Dead and its remake 100 times. That fucking fucked me up. Ooh. And not I'm watching going, oh no, not now. It's like you watch it, you go, oh, and then you get nightmares, and then 2 weeks later you're like sat thinking about a bit from it, going, oh yeah, an ear.
No. The ones that stick with you.
The ones that stick with you. But there'll be none of that here tonight, Sam.
Okay, good.
There'll be no ear eating, just some good old-fashioned stabbing and murder.
So thank you, Martin, for your question. Kevin, there is one final question here.
The final question that somehow survived the onslaught of answering.
It's come through from Michael, who writes the following. Spooky movies about haunted pieces of technology, such as cars, videotapes, and websites, are a common horror trope. Could a movie about a haunted podcast work? Which, now, I really liked this because the more I thought about it, there's two things I thought. One, like, the best horror, I think, comes from something comfortable suddenly going all horrible. And what's the most comforting thing? Like your favourite podcast, your mates. So if we started us, it is me and him. And if we started putting like horrible little whispers in the background of this, that would fuck people up. We're not going to do that. That would be, really awful. Problematic. But
they talked about their Patreon. Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Patreon.com/CinemaSwirl. Patreon.com/CinemaSwirl. Patreon.com/CinemaSwirl.
Genuinely a bit scary.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm keeping it in. I like it. But I then thought, what if, Kevin, you were hearing someone talk to you about their favourite podcast and all the stuff they've learned from it and how they're always listening to it. And then one day you looked it up and that podcast does not exist and has never existed and there is no such thing as the Joe Rogan podcast. And you'd be like, whoa, scary.
Whoa. Sam, can you look that up for me there now? Can you look that up?
Kevin's staring at the big screen in the corner of the ranch.
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
We'll put a retraction in the next episode. Don't worry about it.
There's room there for some fun horror stuff. I think Only Murders in the Building is about a podcast, I think. I haven't seen it. I don't think it's a horror. But,
look, what we're saying is if Ice Cube and War of the Worlds was a podcast, scared the bejesus out of me. Would have been so scary.
Oh, what a film. I think it could work. I think it could work as a thing. I think it's probably either already happened or it's in development now. There must be like a podcast horror.
There's definitely, like, I know loads of horror podcasts, but the idea of doing the long con of like making it normal and enjoyable and then building a grassroots fan base, but instead of like using that to like grow your show, use it to scare them all away.
Real horrible abuse of power.
Hell of a way to go out on top, Sam, is all I can say, like, Go out on a high, like, Good night, everybody.
It took them 135 episodes, but by God, they did it. Yeah, but a movie about a podcast, I think maybe could work. A scary podcast. A podcast that influences people in a negative, scary way. If the podcast made them kill or made them hungry for brains or something like that, you could have...
Or like storm the Capitol building or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It would be the thinnest metaphor you've ever seen, but it would be fun to watch. I'd enjoy it.
But will this be fun to watch? Or it will be so scary that Sam has no choice but to shit his pants. Let's go do a spooky swirl! we're back. Behold the ravages of age. We didn't do the pre-swirl yesterday. It was a good few other days.
Yeah.
My hair's too big. I can't lie, Sam. I can't style it into a misdirection like you can with your fancy hair there all now.
Styled into a misdirection is good. I'm going to say that's what I do with my hair. I style it into a misdirection.
Free-flowing truth right up here up top is what you got here today. But we got enough time has passed for me to get into my Halloween costume. You might think, oh, Kev, he wears that beef shirt all the time. Now he's got a dirty tea towel. Sandwiches.
For listeners, he's the man from he's the bear man. He's not dressed as a bear. He's from the bear.
Cousin, I need 2 Sallies.
There we go.
What are those? Got on my phone. Salads? What?
If you can't visualize it from that, I don't know how to help you.
I'm sorry, can't help you. You need to update your preferences. Hey, Sam, initial gut reaction to Scream.
Yeah, read into that.
Was it the ah or the nya? Because there was an Anya there, and I'm not sure.
Sorry, who's Anya?
She's Ireland's greatest treasure, I'll have you know. How dare you?
To be honest, I forgot about the initial gut reaction as a component of Cinema Swirl for the first time since we've ever started doing this.
That's how scared he was.
That's how scared I was. Yeah. I'm trying to put Scream into my Scream reaction, but I don't tend to scream very often.
You're not a screamer, Sam. I think
I'm just too unfazed.
That's it. Like, I think something that would make most of ye at home scream would make Sam go, Joe. Like that he's, he's more of a,
I dare I say it would elicit a wry smile from me.
He'd often titter to himself at moments that might make you at home, the rage-filled monster, scream at the top of your lungs. Also, sometimes you might scream and Sam will go, it's a funny old world instead, Whereas me, I wake up and I let out a good long scream.
Yeah.
Run downstairs. Pouring coffee. The scream is a healthy component of my day. It's why I got into podcasting.
Yes, but I liked that. I liked it
almost as much as you potentially liked Scream.
Oh, I'm talking about Scream. I liked Scream.
Oh, good.
And also, I liked your riff on screaming. By the way, I enjoyed.
Who's that? The movie about the cat's mother? Come on now.
Kevin, I'm a big fan of your work. And I
thank you.
Most of the time, just imagine I'm saying, I liked that. That was good. You have value.
And see, he would do that. Like you at home, I'd scream with excitement when I did a fun riff like that. Sam, again, would be with a funny little critique instead. Yes. And that's why we love him. So I'll tell you what, in their defense, before I could joke about it, they did include lots of screams at the start of the movie.
Yes, they did. So you know what you're watching. That's what I like. It's it's Ron Seal, mate. You get what it says on the tin. Screaming.
Feel a scream is one of the rare things that, depending on the slightest change of pitch, can go from being very scary or very alarming to very silly and very funny. A lower pitch scream, those are funny, but the IEs, etc. Boy, they'll get you. Ring, ring. Who's that? It's me, Mr. Scream. Now, this surely opening sequence was ingrained in your head from countless MTV Video Music Award parodies.
Yes.
I'm sure Snoop Dogg had to go at this on Doggy Fizzle Televizzle back in the day.
I'm sure. And, of course, the aforementioned Jimmy Carr's Channel 5's funniest, best bits of movies you've ever seen ever, 2005. Now,
Jimmy Carr rings me with the phone. Do you like paying tax?
One of the most disconcerting things for me, but it happens all the time, and I could Google. Well, I think I understand why, but when the font of a film, like the iconic poster font, is not the one that is in the movie, like the title font. When you think of Scream,
yeah.
You know the logo of Scream.
Yeah,
that's not In the film, though, like,
no,
it's a different font. And I know, like, it's shown at festivals beforehand, and they make the film, and then they do all the promotion afterwards.
Oh, that's Wes Craven doing that on purpose to fuck with the font heads like you.
Can you not go back in and change it, like, just before it releases to line it up with a poster for brand continuity?
This is 1996, so if they had to do it, they'd have to go back into each cell individually.
Yeah.
On every film canister that has Scream on it, going to all the IMAXs and all the Omniplexes around the world.
Yes.
And they'd have to physically change it. And he's like, I can't be bothered, mate. I've got Freddy to be getting on with.
Whereas now you'd ask ChatGPT to do it, and it would just do it, wouldn't it? But we've lost something in
and
those
it'd be like,
years.
Scrum. There's no more water. I
thought I was watching a rugby film. I'm disappointed.
I tell you what, I love a good stovetop popcorn. Never have I ever actually. I don't think it's an item that's available outside of the continental Americas.
I think there's too much red tape in the UK to allow us to put something like that on our stovetop.
It feels dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It feels
it's literally a ticking time bomb, you know?
I don't know if I've ever made popcorn.
Oh.
Don't think. And I worked in a cinema. But I've never made popcorn.
You can pull the curtain back right now.
Yeah.
We can't speak to the Americans where maybe behind, when they give you your ticket, they go and they got one of those giant stoves and a giant stovetop popcorn like a pizza pan, and they're making loads of it. But it's not just that they don't make the popcorn in the cinemas in the UK and Ireland. It's the level of artifice. It's the fact that they put on a light that makes it look like there is... And I've been to ones as well. This is fucking wild. I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Dublin that used to have like a little, like they put a vibrator or something down there to go, so you get like a slight like, oh, look at the popcorn. It's freshly popped and moving. And boy, was my wild mind eyes blown open when I went to see Star Wars in Carlow back in the day, and they just had in that area where you would normally put the yellow lighting and the vibrator to the popcorn. They just stuffed the bin bags in there. They were literally just the bin bags were there with a few battle damaged piercings where some of the kernels had like. Do you want some of this bin bag of popcorn we've got on the go? Does it cost less than the one I thought was nicer? No, it is, in all essences, the same.
Yes. But Drew Barrymore here, stovetop pop, and we've got to respect it.
I found probably one of the scariest things about this was the fact that she was taken away from the kitchen, wandering around the house, on the phone, ear not on the pop. Once the popping is starting, you're engaged.
You've got to lock in.
You know?
Yeah.
You got it, exactly. It's like Joe makes popcorn here. She's got the secret formula. She found a thing called Flavacol, which is like, it's kind of like methamphetamine, but for popcorn.
Okay.
This kind of yellow crystal you put on the popcorn, and it makes it taste like the States.
Right.
And that's very tasty, but ear to the ground, because I'm pretty sure if you let that go and it gets hot enough, it's a chemical weapon.
Yes. Now, Kevin, it's been a while since I've answered the phone to an unknown number. But we do recall the days of answering the phone and it was literally someone who had got the wrong number or who you didn't know. But I have never taken an instinct to sort of flirt with them or indulge their flirtations. That has never occurred to me.
Now, me, the full-time freelancer here, who often receives phone calls from, or has booked Ubers, where all number of phone calls can come from all number of places. So I found myself engaging to the point of tedium and it no longer making me anxious with all sorts of unknown numbers. Also, I am the young man who grew up in Ireland with a mother when she got her mobile phone number. For whatever reason, when she rang you, it said unknown number. And I would beg and plead her, ma'am, please change it. She's like, I went to the man in the shop and he says I can't. So every time I've seen unknown number, far from scam, I might think job or mommy. So those are the two things that could potentially happen. I've engaged a great deal, Sam. There was a time last year where the latest robocall phase was not only would they ring you with a scam number or whatever it is, the number they would use for their robo-dialer was an actual phone number. So if I've got missed call from an actual phone number, I'll Google it, and then I'll usually ring it back if I don't find something saying it is a scam. And then you ring up and it's just someone from Huddersfield being like, hello, I'm from Huddersfield.
Oh, they've like cloned the number or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I actually had a conversation with someone once where I was like, you rang my number. And they're like, no, I didn't. And I go, oh, I think your number might have been cloned. And they were like, cloned? What's that mean?
Yeah, but then that person will have Googled your number.
Yeah.
And then...
and they're like, oh, this guy's the lignosite man. His rates are pretty good. But yes, that is something that I had a pleasant discussion with someone about the impending scariness of personal data being irrelevant.
Yes.
So, but she's off to the races here, Sam. Yeah. You know? She has all the confidence of a wind-up merchant local radio disc jockey. Could be like, oh, actually, I work for Microsoft, mate. You gonna fix my Xbox, are you? Hey, you fucking prick.
He's very persistent, the mystery man on the phone at the start. You know, he wants to play his little game.
It's like if you bumped into someone at the horror movie convention and he really wants to know if you like scary movies. No, I'm here by mistake. What do you think? What do you think? Like, come on, like. Come on. He gives a little rundown of some of the classics.
Yeah.
And I felt like a very good friend and co-host right about now that, Sam is aware of most
of these. Yes, I know about some of these now.
Yeah.
I get the references.
Bad. If you got a call like this now, and they were like, I could see you.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say your first instinct, because mine would be, is the smart TV gone hacked? Or has Alexa gone rogue? Has someone went into my laptop and accessed the camera? I wouldn't think in a million years that there's some lad outside.
No,
you know?
Well, nowadays, someone's not going to put the effort to go there. They'll just, as you say, hack into one of your various camera devices.
Like if Ice Cube's not showing up to save the world,
it's not getting out of his chair.
Killer here ain't getting out of his seat. No, come on there, come on.
Our War of the Worlds brackets 2025 review available right now on Patreon if you want to know what we're talking about there. It turns on a dime though. He suddenly does get aggressive and is
nasty. Nasty.
I want to know who I'm looking at, implying he's seeing her. He gets aggressive. Drew Barrymore, says, my boyfriend is coming. He's big and he plays football and he'll kick the shit out of you. Which is, good line of defense.
That's what you want if you're sitting down to watch Married at First Sight and someone's talking about that. Well, my type is, he's big, he plays football, he'll beat the shit out of you. He's an alpha, you know. The final question, which door am I at? Is it well from some? Which entrance to the Grand Palace would you find yourself at? Like
multiple doors.
Like most of us listening here now or sitting down to record this could probably find a point in their house where they can see all exits and entrances. Where are you now? Are you in the back or the front? Come on now, I'll see you.
It's the big American house thing again, though. They've got simply too many rooms and doors. It's ridiculous. But she has to turn on the patio lights to see that her boyfriend is all tied up in the patio.
This guy obviously didn't pass the movie trivia kind of business.
No.
That was some sort of like a movie phone style killer here. You could ring up, have a go at the question, see if you're a buffin, and you get wrong, you get tied to a chair and treated rather poorly.
I know you were saying like you've set me up to do well at something like this, but I still think it's unfair for me to end up in a situation where movie trivia is the thing that will get me killed.
Yeah, and that's why Sam's not allowed to go on Mastermind, because I have seen many people figuratively get killed heading up to in that stupendous glass bowl. Also as well, Sam, I feel you wouldn't be your best self, bound and gagged, and let's be honest, the patio is no one's like, that's where I'm at my best on the patio.
No, I've never heard anyone say they're at the best. At their best on the patio.
They're like, the best feeling I could possibly have on a patio is that barbecue could have went better. That's the best version of me you're going to get out on a patio. I
was trying to think of what the ideal sort of quiz question over the phone and the consequences is I die situation would be for me. I thought maybe Blink 182 trivia, but then the person on the end of the phone could be like, where are you? And that would be scary for me because they sort of...
I don't know if it's a question or not. Also as well, if it was one of the men from Blink 182 that was kidnapping you, you've got a 1 in 3 chance that you'd get up into space, wouldn't it, with the aliens?
Yeah, That's, that could be its own film in itself.
Was this scary at this point? Because I feel like this is a teenage fear of like, oh, I'm alone in the house and someone rings. And I'm like, I think most adults would see that and be like, go on, get the popcorn on, love. Get in. Watch as many episodes of that show you like as you want to.
I've realised that some horror, and maybe I've been spoilt by modern horrors being particularly psychologically creepy and horrible and really getting to you. But there's some horror, like slasher horror, can just be silly daft and not really super scary. I mean, there is,
the slasher stuff that we've done hasn't really scared you that much. I don't think Halloween was particularly creepy, and this riffs greatly and obviously, and like he's like, hello, look at us, we're riffing off of there he is there, and it actually basically shows you a bit of Halloween in it,
But I don't think that's because I'm hard as nails. I just think that's because it's a different type of movie, and you're maybe not meant to be scared by it, just enjoying the thrills and spills of it.
Chills as well, potentially. I'll tell you what, though, it's a great advert for the idea of putting one of those small little signs that says no nuisance callers on your door, because I think this lad would have been like, come on guys, let's go somewhere else. Forget about it.
There's a snarky question about Friday the 13th. It's like, who was the main bad guy in Friday the 13th? It was Jason. No, actually, he only appeared in the sequel. So, and that means that Steve, the boyfriend, is dead, gutted, literally gutted.
Damn. Like if you're in the comments and you pointed out something wrong, I hope you're not like kind of going, well, if I didn't have this medium to do it, I was going to go kill one of your loved ones. I hope it wouldn't come to that now. Like grateful for the heads up always, but like, don't be killing people because of that now.
Say what you will about the comment section. I'd rather they be there doing that than, in my at the patio.
Exactly. This is one of society's you might not like the comments sometimes, folks, but it's a much needed steam release valve for the murderers.
They've got to get that out. Yeah.
And yes, I am implying that if you correct any media, you have the capacity to be a murderer. That's all. We all have it, but you guys slightly more so than the average.
Yes.
I take solace in that, Sam. I take solace in that.
Yeah. Thanks, Internet.
They're the best amongst us. Please don't kill me. I'm sorry. Don't.
We should probably establish that early doors in every episode. Don't kill us.
Don't. Yeah. I know it's a spooky episode, having a bit of fun and all that. But this is just straight out to you. Like if it was in my hands, I'd say I wouldn't want either of us to be murdered.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatsoever.
No.
That's a firm red line for me, Sam. That's a red flag.
Yes.
Okay?
No killing. Drew Barrymore's got a knife, so it's now her versus Ghostface, who at this point I was calling Mr. Scream, but it's Ghostface. And we see Ghostface for the first time.
Is he called Ghostface? Like, actually?
Yeah.
Like, outside of, like, the Wikipedia, is someone like, oh, Ghostface, get over here.
I think one of the characters in this says, oh, what are you doing, Ghostface? When they don't realise that it's actually the murderer.
Feels like an insult that, like, one of, like, Scooby-Doo's gang would level at you. Hey, Ghostface. Hey, all right. I'm a property developer on tough times. Don't even call me fucking names, all right?
Yes. She's getting away from him. She manages to kind of fight him off. And then he just fully catches up to her, properly stabs her, which I think... This, at the time...
it was, yes.
Subversive and, like, not what you would expect. And you've got a big star here who instantly gets killed, and that's a surprise. But I think this has influenced stuff. And I know this was, like, extremely influenced and referential of stuff. Like, this is going...
Yes, I do remember... It's like a line was crossed here. I do remember firmly hearing the words, well, there you are now, when we saw this first time go around as a youngster. That's some sort of... Because you'd usually... cut away, you would see a splash or a flash or something like that.
Yeah.
Some would argue this is scarier. I think at the time, yes. Whereas now, when like that's kind of that's not shocking now, I guess. For
somehow.
Most, I think regardless of age, I don't think if you're watching scary movies that is a shocking thing now. And if anything, it feels strange that it's presented as I bet you didn't think this was going to happen. I was like, hell yeah, obviously it's going to happen. Yeah. Give her a couple more. Like, that's what I expected.
Well, her mum and dad show up. but she can't shout them because she's been all stabbed. She pulls down the ghost face mask to reveal the culprit, but we don't see who it is. And it's just as she gets properly stabbed. Her parents look outside, and she's been all like strung up in a tree and bits. Not
you
her
went
bits.
The extra mile, belt and braces. You know, I'll say the parents' reaction at the start was hard to discern. Of was it because they'd seen their daughter brutally murdered and made a spectacle out of for everyone to see, or was it the much worse feeling of entering a house full of that horrible burnt popcorn smell, knowing, I'll be here for ages.
I think it's a cumulative thing. Like they're like, we're gonna have to get the air purifier in here and leave it on for
that
a long
won't do
time.
Enough.
It'll do something. It'll do something.
You're gonna have to dry clean the curtains.
The scariest thing of all.
He's a brazen old ghosty, isn't he?
Yeah. He's he gives it a good go, and he's got a certain creative flourish. Like he's put effort in after he's killed someone there to make it look really scary.
Did you get the sense at this point that it was going to firmly be a non-supernatural affair, or did you kind of go, oh, maybe there's like other elements to him, or did he seem like he's a very boots on the ground at the coalface murderer, isn't he?
From the very start, that seemed like a person doing crimes. That's
proper
not like
British murderer. This, like, you know,
yeah,
in America.
And nowadays, it's always possessed by a demon or already dead. Just get a bloke. It should be a bloke.
Usually is, isn't it? Like,
just doing horrible crimes. What's wrong with that?
Podcasts and murderers. It's usually a bloke, isn't it? Like, it's usually like, you know, there can be ladies, but it usually is. I like as well, like, not to like spoil too far ahead, but like, there's no real like trauma or twisted backstory to speak of. Just do murders, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
That's, I think, again, is meant to be like, and that's what makes it scary. But I'm like, it was refreshing that he has like just a straight up bunch of murderers. I
think the taste in horror and the expectations change every few years, and it kind of cycles around. So Drew Barrymore, not the main character, already dead. We've got our main teens. Sydney, Neve Campbell. Is it Neve? Sydney. We've got Sydney, and we've got
I call her Sid.
We've got Sid, and we've got Billy, old silly Billy, and they're they're getting hot and heavy, but they're not quite going the full
just
way.
A bunch of clueless teens in their 20s. You remember this confusing age?
Is
I have the mind of a child, but I have the body of a much older adult.
Because this is referential and subversive and making fun of stuff. They're doing that on purpose, right? Maybe, possibly.
It's funny. You get a nice free pass with that, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it's subversive.
We should be subversive. That'd be really easy.
Get away with loads.
Edit this or anything. Like, you just do any old shy, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what you would expect from a podcast, would be for it to be edited. But by not doing that, we're actually subverting your expectations. So you know the bits where, we cough or talk over each other, or I'll just leave that in. Leave that in.
I thought your subversive fart that you did during Pooh, Blood and Honey was chef's kiss, No one saw it coming. That's all I'll say. I'll tell you what, a couple of red flags here. No, not red flag. It's even worse. An ick flag.
Oh.
This movie chat this lad's doing. Come on. Come on. It's thoughtless words, okay? Thoughtless words from a little idle boy. A man takes out his laptop and puts in Akira, okay? No words needed. We watch. Why are there subtitles?
Just silently
no
put
words.
a DVD in.
Are these subtitles? Yeah. Keep up. Gonna take you for a ride. Also, as well, sad boy version of "Don't Fear the Reaper." No. That's another ick flag right there, folks. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the song without cowbell. Are you feeling in the mood for it?
No, come on.
I literally feared the Reaper after listening to that. Now, that's how bad it was.
We get some big names kind of early doors in this. We see the police and the news vans in town. The Fonz is here. Henry Winkler's here as the principal of the school.
Henry Fonzler. who you may know as 1950s and 60s heartthrob from a show that came out in the 70s and 80s, It's the Wink. And he was famous when he'd come in and he'd wink at that jukebox, wouldn't it? And he'd be like, I'll get on playing that record now. You know, if a teen gets murdered, your school's going to get copped up big time. Got all the reporters out there talking about what caused it. They're called violent video games. It's called Donkey Kong Country 2. Children being driven to murder by the frankly really difficult beehive level.
Were Courtney Cox and David Arquette famous at this point?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, Arquette, I think this was fairly early doors for him, but Courtney Cox was at this point, I believe. Yeah.
When was Friends? Mid-90s? This is mid-90s.
Hang on, I need to consult my slippers that I got here. Friends have been running for 2 years at this point.
Okay, yeah.
How about that?
Fair enough. So she's a known commodity.
She's probably the biggest star in this thing, I guess.
It's reasonably star-studded. The kids at the school are weirdly chill and snarky about one of their classmates being brutally murdered, like the day before.
Yes, I've taught school and I've taught in lovely schools, and even the loveliest school, I have 100% faith that this is exactly how the children would react.
Do you think?
Because the thing about it is this weird kind of like you could fill it into a mathematical equation, because the more solemn and serious that certain people take it, including other children, the more widespread the counter argument of like, well, then it means this.
Yeah.
Like I watched when that horrible accident happened at Alton Towers when I was a teacher. Like week 1, there was like some kids who were like, "Oh, this is really sad," and there was a couple of kids who were like, "Someone got really badly hurt." And the more that the people who were like, "No, it is sad," kind of got on and made more of their cases, the louder the other, and it just kind of, so the more you tried to, even as the students themselves tried to be like, "No, take it seriously," the more that kind of base primal, something bad, woo. Like, let me tell you, folks, 9/11 in my school, they were hopping off the fucking wall with that shit. Lad running down the stairs going, "Hope you're ready for some World War III." Do you want to know why? Because the Statue of Liberty is next, and France ain't gonna be taking that no more. How could a child be so learned as to know that the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the French?
It's so smart, but so stupid.
It's at the same time, they ain't gonna be taking that no more. Jacques Chirac's like, they did what? First, you let it turn green, like it's a big stinky statue. It's going to be a beautiful bronze. And now you let terrorists tear it down? Get me an Intel missile.
So, the kids are snarky. They're kind of aloof. They don't really care about this. Also, that Billy guy kind of looks like Johnny Depp, and I don't know if that's on purpose. Because Johnny Depp was in one of the horror films, wasn't he? He was in
some of the early Elm Street offerings.
Yes.
The Billy boy has that kind of unfortunate look about him that he just looks like a teen murderer, you know? He has an air of aloof mystery about him that makes me think, you weren't where you were meant to be last night. Let me see them hands. I need the mid-90s equivalent of, I need to check your hard drive, but I can't because you probably don't have one. And if you do, it probably just has some Encarta files on it. So instead, let me see under your fingernails where there's probably blood from the murders that you've been doing. Slick back hair? No.
No, we know your game. Sydney's mum has been dead for nearly a year and was murdered in horrible, brutal circumstances. So that's some backstory that kind of slowly emerges more and more.
Yes, which kind of recontextualizes the earlier scene with Billy where he's like, baby, a year ago it was so fucking hot, and now it's like, what happened? Look, they tell you this in the Married at First Sight intro packages. This is their trauma.
Yeah.
Read it and understand it. You should know, okay? Don't have to bring it up again, figuring stuff out.
I enjoyed a little reference to seeing Tom Cruise's penis. I can't remember what it was. Some film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise might need another run in the Swirl.
Yeah.
And I think in honor of him, we should do 2 in a row, like he did 2 Masalas in a row, you know? Or review the same movie twice. That's probably more his speed, isn't it?
Now, Ghostface, he's back on the old blower. He's back on the phone. He's playing his silly bugger games again.
Sydney's immune to this. Big respect. she comes this close to winding him up good and proper.
Yeah. But he says, if you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. So he's got some background info, and he's in the room. I like that Ghostface is kind of clumsy and shit. Like that.
Like he's gotten to, isn't he? Like,
yeah. He's visibly rattled,
which does make the ultimate reveal. It makes a lot of sense. Like if you look back at it, or whatnot, that he is scary seeming or whatnot, but he's like just
a dog.
He's two gobshites. Like, you know, that's all it is. Like you can imagine someone on the other end be like, "No, don't say these. Say you're gonna kill your. Was it mother? Yeah. Do her as well, like you."
Now, if you haven't seen Scream, maybe you should start a podcast with your friend. But we know the reveal of who this is at the end. But the fact that they make it seem so obvious at the start, like Billy appears again just after Ghostface has disappeared, and you go, but then you go, oh no, that's too easy.
It's too obvious.
Kind of double bluff is a bit of fun.
It's a successful double bluff.
Yeah.
Were you successfully double bluffed?
At one point, I suspected Arquette. So, you know, I was all over the shop. Yeah.
Check out this WWF diehard right here. What? World champion from WCW, suddenly a murderer. Is that it? Fine, I guess, yeah. Jimmy the King's a murderer as well. Is he? Fine, I guess.
I was trying to outthink the film, but it kept me guessing. I didn't know who was who and what was going to happen. So
that's good. It does play it plays its cards very close to the vest and or chest. And you also have as well, of course, a little tussle at this point. And one of my favourite things about this movie is not just that Ghostface is obviously very rattled and very easily gotten to all the time, but when it comes to any sort of physical encounter, this guy just gets his ass beat.
Yeah,
He's like a scared bad guy wrestler in the 80s, like always like, no, please, like getting thrown around, biting off more than he can chew, backing off. Great stuff.
He can take a bump though, which, you know, we got to appreciate. Yeah.
There is a supercut of all the abuse that Ghostface withstands in this movie and throughout the franchise. Folks, it's a lot, you know. And unlike Michael Myers, he feels every inch of it.
In a way, he's the real victim of the Scream franchise.
I think it's safe to say he takes a lot of licks.
In another way, he's not, and he's killed everyone. But so, policeman David Arquette. So Sidney's like suspicious of Billy here because he's disappeared. A murderer's come in. He's come back.
Rather suspicious. Looks like a murderer.
Yes.
Kind of feels like also as well, boy in the mid-90s, feels like something that they would do.
Yes.
Oh, it's a prank, bro. Just murdered your friend, your mom. Fuck prank, bro.
So police deputy David Arquette, whose character name is Dewey, which is such an American silly name.
It is. You could only be a cop or a decimal system. That's all you could have with a name like that.
He interrogates Billy, but nothing really comes of it. It kind of, you know.
Because all their intel that they have is kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really work. The costume is really popular. You can buy in every nickel and dime store all around. They've got a phone, but they don't really have anything on the phone. They also don't know where her dad is, Sidney's dad, who went away, and he's not where he said he should be. So there's kind of suspicions on him as well.
Yes.
The fun story about the iconic mask, however, is that it was already a Halloween costume. It was widely available.
So it was a pre-established, generic, scary costume.
There's a few variants on the tale of exactly where it came from, because I think there was like some person who claimed credit for it, and then it was like, oh no, it was a riff off of this other design, but it was around, from what I can tell, from at least 1991 or thereabouts. Okay. You could get it. So I think they probably did themselves a favour there, because every pound shop in Ireland was covered in these. And then you get the variants on them, wouldn't you? The one with the tongue out, and then the one that was stoned. And you go, man, why is he like that? Don't ask questions.
You know what? You can imagine other universes where they picked different generic Halloween costumes to use in the franchise. Like, you know, Plumber's Mate.
Or Evil Plumber's Mate.
Sexy Plumber's Mate.
Sexy Zebra!
So, news reporter lady, Courtney Cox, she's got a theory that the man who killed Sidney's mum is innocent, and she's peddling this theory, and she's putting a
real
book
killers
out
out there.
Yeah.
And this is all just misdirection at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, it's
Just all red
doing your
herrings.
typical kind of horror movie thing of like, oh, someone from the past and you've got a secret and it's coming back to get you and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't listen to a word she says, Sam, because she's from the lame scream meaty.
Very good.
I hate
Yes.
reading the news.
I like that. That's good.
Thank you very
It's
much.
very good.
I'll tell you what, she gets another call, Sydney, after we come back from the police station, and she gives a proper, like she's officially scared.
Yeah, yeah.
No longer is she immune to the charms of the scary phone call. No one unplugs their phones in this movie.
No.
No one even has a go.
But that led me to think, well, it can't be Billy because he's in custody at the time, or
Yes.
so therefore not him. But I didn't count on it being a couple of lads sneaking.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Oh, also Sydney like fully punches Courtney Cox in the face. I mean, but she is like in her face with a camera, being like, "Your mum's killer is not is innocent or whatever." So just socks her in the face. Great stuff.
I think that's double jeopardy. Both the slander has been cancelled out by the public assault there, as far as I can tell.
Fair's fair.
But yeah, she gives us lots of details about the early murders and asking us, could these murmurs be related? Ooh. Which is another title for the early episodes of Cinema Swirl. Well, maybe, this
I haven't seen any film. Kevin,
You've not, have you? Oh, you've seen this one now, though, haven't you? Yeah.
Do you like scary movies? It's nearly been exactly 1 year since the death of Sydney's mum. And that's a horror movie trope, isn't it? The anniversary of some kind of crime or death.
Traditions are very important. That's why murderers have such joy in their lives, is because of the structure of the traditions that they get over and over again,
Yeah, quite nice in a way.
In spite of what we said earlier, I'm not going to suggest you go and murder someone, because we won't be able to put this on YouTube then, can we? No,
it might already be too late.
I think it's too late, isn't it? It's too late.
Just go for broke. Who cares?
Can you put a fork in with the knife as well in the title card, so it looks like we're doing dinner at least and not just a bloody murder? Hey. The only thing I'm murdering is this ham and cheese sandwich later on. Yes, with a knife and fork. That's how thick cut the ham is. But the kids at school really, really get into the murders now. All sorts of pranks.
Yeah.
The Winklers having none of it, shutting this shit down. When he's like confronting these two boys in his office, they really egged up the Foley for the scissors. It's like, whooshing, sing, sing, sing. Like, it was basically, the way, like, if you're showing you an ad for a burger, they give you loads of sizzle and pop to make you really want that burger.
Yeah.
They did the equivalent to make you really be like, oh, go on, stab someone just a little bit. Come on.
A little bit of stabbing.
Yes, please.
So there's been some lads doing silly... So were there lads pretending to be Ghostface?
Yes.
In the toilet?
In school.
Yeah.
In toilet.
Because those American fucking bathroom stalls, where there's you can see underneath it. You can see, like, the feet and the top of it. It's daft.
Are you not going into a stall like that? You want the full... You want that seal on the door, do you? You want to be in a private chamber.
Yeah.
Like it's in escape pods.
I'm shitting or nervously pissing. Don't seal me in. I don't want someone looking at my feet.
Or I might go into the stall just for a pee to treat myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to look at my phone while I wee. And yeah, that's it. I don't care about someone seeing my penis. I'm worried they might look at my phone and go, oh, reading that, are you? Yeah. Look at my dick like a normal man. Thank you very much. Good Lord. But yeah, she overhears these mean girls in the bathroom as well before she gets chased by the Ghostface prankster. And they're all like, her mom is dead. That makes her a slut. I saw it on Ricky Lake. How does Miss Lake sleep at night?
I only know Ricky Lake through references to Ricky Lake in media.
Are there?
So, well, in, I think, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, there's a reference to You Can Always Go On, Ricky Lake.
I can vote on Ricky Lake.
So I've never seen Ricky Lake.
I used to not go to rugby practice that was mandated, and I used to sneak up at school, and I would watch in the little TV room for the boarding students. Yeah. I would watch a double bill of Ricky Lake instead, and then I would leave just before it ended so that no one who was coming back from rugby could see that I was in there on my own. Finding about ornery teens going to boot camp or strippers denying that they had breast implants when they clearly had them.
Nice. Yeah.
Bring out the X-ray, Ricky. Let's get to the bottom of this. Now, knowing later that the X-ray was not based in science,
No.
there was a dreadful pall over the whole memory of the thing.
I feel like if this was set in the UK, they'd be referencing Trisha or, dare I say it, Robert Kilroy Silk. And that would be, real unfortunate.
They're a little nicer.
Yeah.
Ricky presents like Trisha, but is an actual fact of Jeremy Kyle underneath that thin layer.
Yeah.
Underneath that nice, like, hey, come on in. It'll be, oh, wait a minute. She's been horrible to the vulnerable.
So these lads get in trouble. Henry Winkler cutting up what's he cutting up? He's cutting up something.
Cuts up the mask.
Yeah.
He's like, He's all over the place here because he's like, users are expelled. And then he's like, actually, no, you're not. But let me tell you something. I want to murder the both of you so fucking bad. And whoa.
Well, we get a little bit of him putting on the mask to kind of have a little play and see what it's like, which is meant to make you think, oh, maybe. But then he immediately gets killed by the actual Ghostface.
Yeah, and I think what was hilariously subversive for 1996 about this is the fact that he gets killed in broad daylight. Like the fact that you never, people don't die when the sun is up. That's safety time. You can't shed blood when there's sun. It doesn't work like that. And yeah, he's dead. And then they're like, school's out.
School's out.
If you ever see your local principal, know heavy is the head that wears that particular administrative crown, because each of those people carries the burden knowing that they are one murder away from children having the best time of their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, don't murder your principal. Be the worst summer holiday you can imagine.
So Sydney's friend Tatum is making her doubt that her mum's killer, whose name is Cotton Weary, I think, which is a mad name for any person.
It's subversive because usually in horror movies they have proper names like you and me.
Yes, but this guy's called Cotton Weary, implying that maybe he's not the killer, and then if he's not the killer, then the real killer is out there. So we've got this thing in the back of our minds that maybe this is, the actual killer of her mum coming back to finish the job and just
or maybe the wrongly accused man's going to break out of prison and fucking kill her. And be
We've got options. We've got
one on my record and might as well get me some.
I did realise when you were talking about Broad Daylight that this is quite a well-lit horror movie.
It is, yeah. It's quite sunny. It's almost like an episode of Dawson's Creek or the OC, isn't it? Yeah, except in the OC, fewer people die. We head to the video store where I was immediately flooded with a great sense of nostalgia and joy. And I was like, yay, video. And then the guy at the video store started talking, and then I was like, wow, no great loss, is it?
No, it was quite sweet to see a busy video store depicted on film.
We had a fucking 2-story video store in Galway in a retail park. Like the size of a giant B&M or Boots that you'd have now.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like more movies in it. They were just more spaced out. So it was literally physically impossible for it to be busy because there's too much space.
It's a nice little nostalgic thing to look back at. This is when I got the real sense that this film is all very subversive, nodding at tropes, acknowledging what happens in other movies.
Them here, Sam, for goodness sake.
He's literally just saying, if this was a horror movie, this should be happening, and the rules are this, and it happens like this. The lads are all suspecting each other of being the killer, or kind of having a go at each other, saying, oh, maybe you did it, oh, maybe you did it, I don't know.
Look, everyone knew boys like this. Everyone knew boys who did murders, and then they're like, oh, you fucking do a murder now, I will. And then they egg each other on, don't they? And then they're all murderers then, That's how it starts.
And, Sydney and Billy have got the teen sex thing going on where they're not having sex and she feels guilty about not having sex with him and that it's and that all that stuff plays into horror movies about like whether you should or shouldn't have sex and sin and purity and all that kind of
Call me old-fashioned, Sam.
Yeah.
But I don't think I need sex in my horror movies.
No?
I don't think so. I don't think so. it's not sexy, is it, though? Like, it's not, like...
No, but later on in this film, when the lads are all watching, Friday the 13th or something, and someone gets their boobs out, they're so excited and so happy that they've seen some titty that I'm like, you know what? Maybe there was something nice about a time when you go to the horror movie because it's rated 18 or whatever, and you know you will get a little bit of that as well. You get
fickle fans.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're not there for the movie, are they? And if they didn't get it, they walk out angry, hating on the movie as well. And let's be honest, when you're watching Halloween or Friday the 13th and a pair of tits just appears out of nowhere, much as it did in Pooh, Blood and Honey, it just makes it a bit weird because you're what's the reaction meant to be like?
But Kevin, times have changed, and there was something nice and nostalgic about all the lads going, yeah, yes, come on. Nowadays, you wouldn't even register it. You're just like, oh yeah.
They'd be too busy looking at their phone at a stream of non-stop algorithmically driven tits into their face, wouldn't they? And wouldn't even get a cheer out of them, any of them.
No, it's a shame. It's a real shame. So the police guys, including David Arquette, they confirm that it was Sydney's dad's phone that was making... They're really puffing on the cigarettes this whole conversation.
Except Dewey's got a little inky-dinky ice cream.
He's just a little boy.
I didn't think there was such a thing as having an ice cream that betrays your profession or your status as like a man of the law. But he found one.
Yes.
Yeah. Get a feast or an iceberg in your hand there, man. No one's questioned the cop having that. Like, that's okay.
So now we're getting suspicious of the dad, who we've not seen since the very start of the movie, going away. And we get one of these classic drunken teen house parties that you may recognise from the music videos for all of the music that was around about 2 years after this. Like, they all depicted one of these parties.
Of party that makes you go, the doctor said my mom should have had an abortion. And then every time he says abortion, another one fades away. And then we have a number come up on the screen at the end, you know. Not so fun now, is it? All good parties, I think this is officially a mixer, however. All good mixers have cops and reporters lurking outside.
Yeah, that's totally normal. That's fine. And also, these two have been flirting, Courtney Cox and David Arquette. They've been kind of... a bit flirty.
That's where the chemistry is. Those two kids are going to be fine. For a while, at least.
So they know that, you know, this is related to Sydney and Sydney's dad, and so they're kind of keeping an eye on her and the party that she's at, and just seeing if anything goes on or anything happens.
You never know.
But that means that the reporter, Gail Weathers, Courtney Cox, is now at the party, but Sydney hates her because she's got all the theories about the murder of her mum.
And her book.
Yeah, and her book. It's all very uncomfortable for Sydney. Courtney Cox sneaks in basically a spy cam into a fucking teen party, which is, you know...
Gail, you're going to do hard time for this. You're going to be cracking rocks.
That's not okay.
You're going to Rikers, boy. You're going to Sing Sing. What did she do? She put a camera and secretly filmed a load of, let's be honest, traumatized children.
Yes.
They've lost a loved one. There's no right way to film children.
No, I've always said that. And
I've always said that.
And you also get David Arquette as doing the cop, going like, you're underage. Just kidding, enjoy the night. That's a bit of fun.
I want your badge, Dewey. I want it now.
So, Tatum, one of the girls, Sydney's friend, she's sent to the garage to get beer. And I recognise this set. I recognise this location.
What?
You know,
where?
In the pre-swirl, I was talking about a bit where Ghostface or someone similar gets caught in a cat flap and then lifted up in a garage door. I thought that was the Scary Movie silly parody. I didn't think anyone actually got caught in a door in a cat flap.
I think you are true that it just maybe the roles are reversed in that situation.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure like his arse comes out in the Scary Movie or something like that. It's
great stuff.
There's a slapstick element to it. So I kind of knew roughly what was coming with this scene, having seen a parody of it a few years later.
He attacks, he gets his ass beat again, she throws full bottles of beer at him, great stuff. We have enough of a close-up on him to know that his costume is slightly sparkly, and I think that's nice.
That's nice. It's a nice touch.
It's nice, isn't it? But after taking a few tumbles and bumps, lady here gets caught in the dog flap.
Yeah.
And these things are killers. don't have them in the UK as much in Ireland for the same reason. They're killers.
I don't know if that machinery would be strong enough to do that. I don't know.
She's waifish, Sam.
She
weighs as much as a bag of shopping. It'll kill her in two.
You know who this should be put to? The Mythbusters. Please, let them investigate. Get Jamie Hyneman in that cat flap. And
Jamie, Adam, I know you've not spoken for the last 12 years. And Adam, I know that you have only spoken about Jamie on your streams and YouTube clips roughly 3 times a week for the last 6 years. But if you could put that all aside for 1 minute and maybe come together and find out, will this babe get cut in twain? And then they go and they find Buster, don't they? And then we all get goosebumps. They're like, why do I get goosebumps for Buster? And then you put him in a skirt and you feel weird.
I was going to say, if either of them were in the cat flap, either way, it's a win-win because they hate each other. So if one of them does get killed, they'd be like, well, we were never friends.
I think Sam and I could probably pull off a Ghostface killer type situation where we could tag team it, like split responsibilities, all that.
Sure.
Adam and Jamie wouldn't. They'd fight over the voice modulator, and he'd be like, "Why did you ask him so many questions about movies?" And he's like, "It's because movies is the whole thing."
Are they the American John Turode and Greg Wallace? In terms of not in terms of recent events.
No, Sam, because both of them still can get work. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
So she's trapped in the thing. It goes up into the thing. She gets all mangled and killed. And Ghostface looks quite silly as he sneaks away.
He does. And I will say, kill of the movie as far as I'm concerned, Sam.
Yeah. I think that's maybe more iconic than the Drew Barrymore one. Yeah.
Sorry, Drew. That's the top kill right there.
Yeah.
Because you feel like with Barrymore, it's like he was unsatisfied with the kill and then he had to kind of gussy it up afterwards. Like you've given a shit Christmas present, but then you kind of have a really great card to go with it.
This was the all-in-one package. The murder and the display of the murder are the same thing. That's what you want.
Time saved, money earned.
Yes.
Billy's in the house, and he has this heart-to-heart to horny heart with Sid, which leads to another classic horror movie trope, the awkward sex scene.
Yay! But don't worry, there's a camera in that house, so if there's any sexual activity, hopefully those adults hiding in a van outside will see it.
So we're watching this, and they're like, they're what? They're children? Like,
I don't know how old they're meant to be.
Yeah.
18 is maybe optimistic.
It's very optimistic.
Yeah.
And you know, I hate that, not as loud, but a surprisingly nearly as loud voice is like, and the actors are too old as well. Not now. That's not what this is about. This is a different, much more serious bad thing.
Yes. So those two are making out and getting hot and heavy upstairs. As downstairs, Randy, who's Jamie Kennedy, right?
Yes.
Of
experimental fame, who has told many a dark tale in his podcast, and I have no sympathy for the man whatsoever because I watched The Mask.
He's explaining the rules of surviving a horror movie. And I do like when he's listing through, he's like, number 1, you can never have sex. And the lads are like, boo. Everyone's like, boo. Boo. Number 2, no drink and drug. Boo. Fuck you, piece of shit. Number 3, never say you'll be right back. And then the guy from Scooby-Doo is like, I'll be right back. And off he goes.
And I thought to myself, what an easy audience, you know? What an easy... a callback to 3 seconds ago.
I love the very video gamey plot device that the secret camera and the observation van, there's a 30-second delay. That feels like a game mechanic.
Very good. You should have to rewind to check for key facts. I would say here, there's a sex scene going on while people are watching a sex scene on a movie. It was very, very meta. It was so meta that none of these characters should have legs.
Is that a metaverse?
That is.
Yeah.
Or I was going to say, this is so meta, there'll be loads of children saying racist stuff in the room.
Did anything ever happen with the metaverse? Is it still there?
Still there.
Still there.
They were, and unfortunately, I feel there was more work going into it. No, we're working on the legs thing.
Yeah.
The Nazi children thing.
We can get to that later, but we need to sort these legs out.
One step at a time. I think we can't address... There's no way we're going to address this while they have no legs.
We can't even take those one steps at a time without the legs. So we need to get that down, and then we'll address the Nazi stuff. I wrote down in my notes, and this is so pathetic, I wrote down, my current guess is David Arquette, thinking that I could come back to that and be like, see, I knew who the killer was. Based on nothing. Based on just like, it could be him.
So because you got that so profoundly wrong, someone now is going to place a single white rose on Wes Craven's grave. Got him again, champ. You the man. Keep guessing.
You know what you were saying about like kids and horrible events? When Randy gets the call that the principal has died and has been like strung up on the football field, everyone runs to go see the body before it's taken down.
I am American bad there. Now the party, now it's a kegger. Fuck off your mixer. Now it's a kegger, man. Principal's dead. They've also found the dad's car. So we have Dewey and Gail going in, further bonding. Nice chemistry. Maybe these kids should get married. Maybe they should show up at WCW Nitro together. And in another moment, straight out of Married at First Sight, Billy is acting weird because they've had sex. What?
Yeah, come on, man.
I thought this was the whole issue. Now you've done it, and now it's weirder. What?
And they have a whole thing about whether she still suspects him. And he says, what do I have to do to prove to you I'm not a killer? And then he gets killed by Ghostface. So he is conclusively not Ghostface, right?
He's very stabbed. He's very stabbed.
Yes.
But this is probably the most BPM bumps per minute that Mr. Scream Mask gets. Yes. He falls down the stairs. He splits his trousers. He gets waffled from ear to ear. This guy is earning his payday today.
He's been through the ringer. It's very brutal for him. Sydney manages to escape out the window by falling onto a boat and then gets away. Randy's watching a Jamie Lee Curtis horror movie saying, the killer's behind you, while the killer is behind him. It's meta. There's no legs. Ghostface makes it to the TV van. It's the pace has picked up at this point. There's
it does.
Yeah.
Which probably now makes more sense when you realize there's two of them, because that makes his getting about a lot quicker. I wonder if you play as him on Dead by Daylight, if there's just two of you, so you're slightly more of an advantage.
Yeah.
I've never played the game. I'm not actually inquiring.
What's the term for it? Lopsided multiplayer. What's it called? I can't remember the name.
It's an innovative skateboardless gameplay mechanic, which I've not yet seen you get to grips with, Sam.
No. And yet, listeners, the new skate game is out, and
it's all right. I'm such a good friend of Sam that I was like, sent him a message, be like, hey,
skate.
And his very perfunctory response spoke so many volumes that there has been no follow-up queries. I think it's best we leave it at that.
We leave it at that.
Hey, look, at least in heaven you can play skate. You know, that's
Heaven is an emulator for the PS3. Ghostface is now at the TV van, and he slashes There's a dorky cameraman who really gets...
Kill him!
He gets killed.
Kill him!
Slashed his throat. We're going kill crazy now.
Sid gets a slice.
Yes.
Dewey runs into the house. Time to be a hero. He gets one in the back. They stuck him. Yes.
Gail's driving away in the van, which has got the dead cameraman on it. There's blood everywhere. She crashes the van. It's just, it's all, everyone's getting into all sorts of calamity here.
Sid finds herself back at the house, and two of the dink boys are like, with their schmoozing and their accusing and their this and their that.
Yes.
Trying to enter the house, and she at this point trusts no soul.
Correct. Yeah. So
she's very... I'd want her on my side if there was a Scream murderer on the loose.
Stab me once, shame on me.
Yes.
Yeah. So she locks them out as they're outside. Billy, who we remember being stabbed by Ghostface.
Yeah.
He's not dead. He's
he's a liar. liar and an adulterer as well. This is always, men are always like, oh, I've been stabbed to death. And then they're up there having a drink with their bloody mates.
Yeah.
Laughing about it. And a lot of young men these days they're afraid to pretend to be stabbed brutally in front of their partners because apparently that's not acceptable behaviour anymore. And I think a lot of young boys are lost because of that.
Yeah.
This is the point in the party where I'd be like, I'm telling.
Yeah, it's gone too far.
Bunch of boy shit that's gone too far. Killing people and pretending to be killed.
But Billy's like, I've survived. Like, everything's okay. It's going to let Randy in, and then shoots Randy. And we're like, oh no, Billy is actually the baddie. And
Shaggy was in on it as well, just like at the end of Scooby-Doo when Shaggy is revealed to be the big bad.
It's horrible, and you know the worst villain trope of all time is being a movie buff. Apparently,
I mean, I was there thinking like, if you've got a good reason for killing my mother, let's hear them out.
Yes,
but then they're like, I like movies, yeah. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. He confirms like, oh yeah, we're the ones we killed your mum as well.
And watching this, Sam, seeing these two lads with all this time on their hands.
Yeah.
And it got me red furious if those bozos over at Shudder had gotten their shit together and got online in 96. There'd be a few less bodies in the ground, goddammit.
Sure. Yeah.
They'd just be watching movies all the time, wouldn't they?
This is the thing. You know, the comment section, Shudder. Without these things, we'd be getting more murders. So thank you, Internet, for all that you've done.
They not just went on a kill rampage, they're also going to frame her dad as well.
Yeah.
And they're at that crossroads of being ingenious and annoyingly petulant.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, Billy does this whole thing of like, it's scarier when there's no motive. But here's the motive. Your dad had sex with your mum had sex with my dad, and now my mum's gone and I'm sad. So yeah, they've framed Sydney's dad for the murders, cloned the phone. They've now got a plan to stab each other to look like they've been left for dead and make it look like a murder-suicide. They're kind of bumbling and crap, which is
but
fun.
That's kind of why you think they might get away with it. And the most accurate teenage boy thing ever is, let's take turns stabbing each other to get away with our grand plan. And I'll give him all the props in the world because I think he's a genuinely fantastic actor. But Matthew Lillard, the lad who plays the bozo here, he this last like 10-15 minutes of the movie, he's a treat. He's a feast for, if you like an over-the-top, crazy, bag of madness performance. This lad's got it going on. He churns and squirms, and he's like a weird fucking clown. Great stuff. I mean, I think if you were wired a particular way, and you didn't like this type of guy, this would be fucking terrifying right about now.
Sure.
Whereas me, I'm like, one of the hackers has gone mad.
Yeah. He's great in this. He's providing a lot of value. So the lads, they're talking about movies. There's a little line that I caught that was, movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative. And I think that's what this podcast has been all about the whole time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For the never mind the sickos. I'm sick of them being catered to. For the psychos.
Yeah, man. The lads are, they're like, this is our whole plan. We've stabbed each other, but then the gun is missing, and it turns out
you always want to make sure you have the washing on, dishwasher emptied, all that taken care of, socks on, all that before you start stabbing each other.
Yeah,
because now they've got stab madness, and they're not going to be able to get through the issues that they have at hand. The day's a write-off of that. Once you stabbed yourself and your friend, the day is a write-off.
Kevin, it's phone, keys, wallet, stab wound, gun. Like that's the classic that you pat on yourself.
Obviously.
Yeah, but they've made an error here. Gail, as in Courtney Cox, she's got the gun and she's alive, but the safety is on the gun.
It's a nice escalation of typical horror swerves and whatnot at this point.
Yeah.
But you weren't scared at this point now, were you?
None of it's scary. It's fun and silly.
Rompy.
It's rompy. And then just before Billy's about to shoot Gail, Sydney and her dad have kind of gone missing. She calls them on the phone to do the voice changer.
Movies are fucking stupid. I fucking video games. Woo!
And she says she's called the police, and the lads are scrambling to try and, resolve this problem. But again, Matthew Lillard as Stu is like, have you really called the police? My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. And it's lovely little
It's like if Eric
stuff.
Cartman committed a series of murders. It's absolutely fantastic. But we get Billy being shanked with a brolly.
Yes.
We get a television full of scary movies crushing Shaggy Doo's heads.
Yeah, again,
And
nostalgic, because now tellies are so light.
they'd be like, oh, you'd be more concerned about the telly than the man underneath it now, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But back then, you've got to remember how fucking heavy those CRT big TVs were. My God.
And they were full of electricity, weren't they, Sam?
Yes. There's sparks going everywhere.
Full of sparks and lightning. Oh, I think the sickest thing that happens is when Billy comes up from the dead and attacks her, she pokes his little hole.
His little wound.
I had my bloods taken recently.
Yeah.
And when they didn't get, and I quote, flashback, which is when the blood comes back into the vessel,
Okay.
the person who was supervising the person taking the blood said, just have a feel around. And they went,
Oh, God. Oh, no. I don't like that at all.
bad day, Sam. I was like, just keep going. Just take it all. Kill me. I don't want to live anymore.
The reveal of Sydney wearing the Ghostface outfit is pretty cool as well. That's like a nice full circle, badass moment for that character.
We're all
Great.
Ghostface, you
Yeah,
know?
man.
Reclaim Ghostface for the non-murderers. That being said, though, she gets murder happy here. She racks up a few herself, like.
Yes, as he's about to stab her, she shoots him in the chest. Randy and Sydney are the only, well, they're some of the only survivors here. And then Randy is doing this whole, like, this is the moment in the movie when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last guess.
Shut up!
And Billy does go, "What?" And then immediately gets shot in the head by, I think, Gail. Yeah.
More like hail of bullets from
Yeah.
Miss News Reporter Extraordinaire, who quick as a flash gussies up her hair, and she's like live on the scene. And she's like, this is a great murder that's happened. Guys, let me tell you.
One of the all-time murders.
What a rush, first of all. I've heard about murderers, but murdering? I tried it. My report, Eyewitness, starts now.
It's proper gonzo journalism. She's getting involved. Being part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Louis Theroux didn't do that on his weird weekends, did he?
he didn't. No. Yeah, the gun was in his hand, and yet he couldn't seal the deal. Why didn't you
kill Jimmy Savile?
Why didn't you kill Jimmy Savile? And I thought, should I? I'm not sure. During the pandemic, I thought, maybe I should have. Yeah.
There we go. Scream. In the credits, we get a nice thing where we see, like, stills of the actors. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid. And I watched it a few years ago, and I was like, fuck, that was, like, properly awesome. Like, what a fucking romp. Good shit. This time, having watched it again, and, kind of knowing knowing not just what to expect, but also knowing the subtext and the layers and all that.
Sure.
It was probably more like I'm not sure if it's one that I would recommend myself to revisit again.
Okay.
But in terms of your first experience with it,
Yeah.
you were thrilled, it seems.
Yeah, it was
and enough know how to get the kind of the parallels and the tropes that they were trying to riff off of, at least.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. I think I probably should have watched this when I was maybe, I don't know, 14 or something.
But like, I remember when I was 14 watching it and be like, oh yeah, I know, I've seen Halloween, yeah. I think Freddy was mentioned, and I was kind of like, not that I was sitting there going, oh, I don't understand any of this, but like, a lot of the bones of it were not like, I wanted to see this if I was like the type of weirdo kid who'd seen way too many horror movies when I was 15, and then I was 15 when this came out.
Sure. Yeah. But
then I'd be owled then, wouldn't I? So
I think I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like maybe there was something missing in me being the age I am now, coming to it for the first time. But it and also, so much in horror and movies in general has changed since this, and it's inspired stuff and the whole subversion of tropes thing has been
changed
done
horror
loads.
forever, it feels like. Yeah.
So again, it's like coming back to the first. It's not the first thing to ever subvert tropes, but like I think it was seen as a big difference. Interesting take on horror at the time.
I think you could draw a line between horror movies that came before and after this, and the expectations and whatnot. And it feels like that very nice crossroads of being like an homage in many senses, but also like I think this was looking to catch the people who like roll their eyes at a lot of the kind of the classic 70s and 80s horror movies and shock it to life with a new generation or whatever, or a new viewpoint or whatnot, which is kind of really hard now to understand how horror was presented or how it was kind of taken in by the audiences back then. So it is very much a movie of its time, but dare I say, it is one of the few cases, I think, on this show where I'm like, oh, part of me thinks you kind of had to be there and also to have seen a load of movies beforehand.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a hell of a time for if you saw this at the exact right time, this would have hit so much better.
Yes.
But I remember like enjoying this as a kid, partly because I felt like such a big brave boy for watching it as a youngster and then not being terrified. Because I would say it's violent and shocking.
It is violent, but it's
scary.
I don't think it's scary, but I don't know if it's even meant to be scary.
No, I don't think so. It uses the guise of a scary movie to take you on more of a roller coaster ride, I think.
Now, this is a positive thing. Every fucking 5 minutes in this film, they talk about, I'm going to be alive for the sequel. Oh, we're going to make a sequel. I know there's a sequel.
There are many sequels.
And I'm curious about what they do in a sequel when, they have killed the killer.
I've seen a bunch of them, and the mileage varies as far as I recall, but I don't know at what point or if they get into truly like Stinko Fest. I do remember enjoying Scream 2.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that was just like kind of like when this is one of those movies that when the sequels are coming out, it had absorbed the culture. It was like Scream, like when Saw was kicked into high gear. It's like it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Everyone's going to go watch it now because it's part of Halloween and scary movie season.
Yeah.
But was there anything about it that you were like disappointed or let down by? Because it felt like of all the horror movies we've done here, this is one where you had, I would say, I don't think you realised quite how much, almost all of it, you had sussed out before we even watched it.
Yeah, there was something lost in me knowing two of the big murder scenes, pretty much, not entirely beat for beat, but kind of I knew what was happening. It's not a perfect movie.
Shown its age in some respects, maybe.
Yeah, and I think you're right in there being something lost of not being there in a certain time and place and, frame of mind.
I think its biggest defenders this movie always will be from people of the time who saw it exactly then.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if going forward, like you always see like these horror movies that find like Halloween, it feels like every 10 years like a new generation discovers it for the first time, or The Thing or whatever, and they fall in love with it all over again. It feels like this is more likely to be reestablished and reloved all over again because it is a product of the 90s as opposed to on its own 2 feet as a horror movie. I feel like people will love this because they love the 90s and they love what it meant and what it reminds them of. I don't know, I could be wrong with that, but it feels like a lot of my nostalgia was doing the heavy lifting on this to help me like kind of enjoy it and appreciate it this time around.
Sure. Just a little detail, because we touched on this very briefly at the start. The distance between the pre-swirl and the post-swirl was a lot longer than it has been traditionally due to some scheduling issues and some stuff that came up.
The longest ever.
Ooh. I think it was. But in the time in between, I went into a Primark and saw Ghostface Scream hoodies.
Wow.
Because we're heading into spooky season.
Marketability, Sam.
So I don't know if the kind of cultural moment of Scream is coming back around again right now.
But I think if it is, it's going to come around with people in their 30s and 40s who watched it as a kid, But I could be wrong. I mean, it could be one of those things where people just wear the T-shirt and they've never even seen the movie or the movies it references.
You like Scream? Name 4 of the people who were murdered. Please, right.
But that's kind of okay because at the heart of it, this movie seems to be making fun of people who care about that type of a thing.
Yes,
so.
It can just wink and go. It's subversive. Yeah, I had a good time. I had a good
grand time indeed.
Yes.
Well, if you were on that notion to give it a star wipe rating out of potential 5, what does Scream from the mid-90s get from Sam Chaplin?
I'm giving Scream 3.5 spooky star wipes.
And might I add, you heard it here first.
Aye.